Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our next, regularly scheduled weekly AMA. For those joining us for the first time, my name is Marty, also known as Alcatraz. I'm the lead designer at Raini Studios, working on our flagship title, The Lords of Light. How are we doing today, guys?
To be honest, I'm just on the tail end of a cold, so not fantastic, but powering through. I think we were burning the midnight oil a bit much last week with the Web3 rollout and the Season 1 prep. It's been pretty hectic lately, but yeah, happy to see it all coming together. How about you, Ray?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. I'm always burning the midnight oil, but that's just my personal things that I got going on. But no, all good here. Looking forward to season one, which is obviously imminent after this AMA is finished.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that's probably the big thing. Yeah, season one kicking off very soon. We're gonna do it just after this AMA, so there will be probably about 20 minutes of downtime once that's all good to go.
Nice.
We pushed it back from like it was meant to be like 5 minutes ago. Pushed it back because we just wanted to get in a quick little update that will basically mean that anyone who has unredeemed rewards from the season 0 battle pass will automatically get redeemed when we kick over into season 1, or gets redeemed when they log in for the first time. We just added that in just because we obviously want to make sure that no one misses out on any of the rewards that they've worked hard to claim during season 0, which is really cool. And yeah, just the other thing that came up, I think Ray, I think you mentioned this yesterday, and just wanted to make sure we clarify this for everyone's sake.
Yep.
Is that so obviously a big part of the season 0 and the season 1 battle pass will include a variety of different kinds of packs. So there's obviously there's in season 0 we had Genesis, Tempest, and 7DS packs. Going into season 1 there will also be some formation packs in there as well. Obviously they won't unlock until formations goes live, but you can still start unlocking those packs ready to go for day 1.
Ooh.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I think the level
Yeah.
49 Lux Pass. My brain's just fried from Battle Pass math for the last like week. But yeah, the one of the top rewards for the Lux tier is actually a premium formations bundle, which is pretty cool there as well.
Ooh.
And obviously the free tier level 49 reward, same as season 0, will unlock the Lux tier going into season 2. Which would be pretty cool there as well. So for people that do choose to grind and get right through the free tier of the battle pass, unlocking the premium tier for the following month is pretty cool there as well.
Sure is. That's
Um,
fantastic.
oh, we might have there's a head hovering over your shoulder there, Chris. But yeah, specifically when you're looking at any packs which are not set bound. So, for example, like there's the common uncommon packs, there's the new legendary packs that you'll see in the season 1 battle pass that is guaranteed to contain one legendary, for example, or the color packs, so like the yellow, the greens, all those guys. We generate the content of those packs when you actually click to open the pack itself. So, for example, if you're sitting on a bunch of, say, like color packs, like yellow, green, blue, whatever, and you wait until after formations is live in the client, you're muted, Chris, by the way, if you're trying to talk. Um, then yeah, those packs will obviously have a chance to contain formations cards at the same drop rate as they would like any of the other cards that you don't own that pack could contain. Obviously, keep in mind as we move forward, we've said all along that soulbound packs will rotate, even though our eternal format won't. So eventually, like Genesis, Tempest, 7DS will rotate out of the soulbound store. So that will obviously mean that when that rotates out, those packs won't have the opportunity to contain those cards. So we'll give people plenty of notice when that's coming up. But yeah, just good to keep that in mind that if you are looking at when to open those packs, yeah, obviously when a new set comes out might be a good time, and then just before sets rotate out might also be a good time depending on your collection and what cards you're hunting for. But yeah, we did mention obviously that we would have a special guest joining us this morning. Um, for anyone maybe new to our AMA, we've got a lot of new players joining us since our launch on Epic. Would our special guest like to introduce himself?
Hey, can you hear us, Marty? Is
Yeah,
that
yeah,
Mike?
yeah. It's,
Yes, hey, awesome. Hey everyone, JJ here. I'm co-founder of Raini, Lords of Light, and also founder of Leonardo. So, the whole team has been super busy building away behind the scenes. In my case, working on both Leonardo and Raini. So it's been great to do a collab contest between the two projects. This leads me to what I'm here for. I'm here to announce the winners of the Leonardo AI and RTLOL card pack competition, card back competition. We had a lot of submissions to go through, and we were excited to see all the awesome things you guys created for RTLOL using Leonardo. So please give a big congratulations to our winners of the grand prize, Lucky Nightfall and Grittle Flicks, who have each won 3 soul-bound premium bundles in RTLOL, Genesis Tempest 7DX, 5,000 Lux, and 10,000 Leonardo AI tokens. And our runners-up, Edward CMF and Magic Boss, who have each won 1 soul-bound premium bundle of your choice, 2,000 Lux, and 5,000 Leonardo AI tokens. As of today, these card backs are now live in RTLOL and are available in-game now. So our lucky door prize winners are Aussie JAI and Zoo, ZHOU, who have each won 1,000 Lux each as well. And all prizes will be implemented by Friday, the 8th of September. So yeah, congrats everyone. And yeah, so look, just once again, thank you everyone who entered. We were truly blown away by the level of support you've shown the Lords of Light, and yeah, we're excited for the future.
Yeah, so if anyone may not be aware, if you jump over onto the Raini Discord, you can actually there's actually 2 whole channels dedicated to both the competition that we ran, so both discussing it, and obviously another channel there for submissions. As JJ mentioned, the volume of submissions that we got there was insane. So just a huge shout out. I'm just going to do a quick screen share here and just basically hit the thumbs up button, or the page up button. The number of submissions that we got were pretty ridiculous. It took us quite a long time to go through and try and narrow these down to sort of pick out our winners. But yeah, like yeah, again, as JJ mentioned,
sort of the brave new world of generative AI. I think, Marty, it's just the you know, level of creativity that people are enabled to be able to just create and create. It's kind of awesome, but also like kind of you know, makes things a bit challenging when you're trying to pick a winner. Right.
Yeah, and I guess the really cool thing here, especially like, you know, for anyone who may be, you know, I guess new to generative AI or hasn't really had much experience using platforms like Leo, the variety of submissions was pretty mind-blowing as well. Like there's a lot that are obviously very heavily inspired by some of our existing card backs in the game. But there's just a lot of like really cool, unique submissions in here as well. And like I could keep scrolling, but we're going to be here for literally hours. Like there's so many. Like some of these look awesome, like for card backs. So yeah, it was an incredible challenge, really, to even narrow it down to our winners. So yeah, just a huge thank you again to everyone who submitted. And I guess the cool thing as well, for anyone who is new to generative AI, JJ, I'm pretty sure like Leo has a completely free option for people to jump in and give it a try.
Yeah. There's a I mean, it's pretty generous that you get like 150 tokens a day to go and generate whatever you want on the platform. So yeah, it's yeah, you can just go and have a lot of fun, as many people have here.
Yeah, I mean, I've just literally been pressing page up the whole time. Oh, we go, finally got to the top there. But yeah, a lot of cool submissions there. So yeah, I guess thank you to everyone who entered that one. I mean, I guess yeah, it's obviously been a while since the Raini community's had a chance to catch up with you, JJ. Anything else sort of been going on much lately at the moment, or?
Yeah, I mean, we've I mean, I've been obviously working a lot on the Leonardo AI side. We've been working on some really exciting pieces. You know, the kind of the AI space is moving at a million miles an hour. The image quality that's achievable with generative AI now is sort of insane. It's you know, I think that you know, what's really interesting is, you know, in the same way that kind of when we think about Web3 democratizing access to finance, I think generative AI, in the context at least what Leonardo is doing, is sort of democratizing access to creativity. I think that's a really exciting piece of you know, how things are playing out. People who have creative ideas, but maybe don't have, like, you know, the time or have never gained the technical skills required to create, and now able to leverage technology to realize, you know, what they can envision in their mind's eye, and that's super exciting. And you know, as we look to the future, it's all about giving people more and more control and customizability over what they can create and how they can go about creating. And I think there's this really interesting trend towards the future where people who maybe were once pure consumers of entertainment become active participants in the creative process. And so I think the future looks pretty interesting from that perspective.
Yeah, for sure. I know at least from our side as well. Like Leo's a critical tool for us in everything we do with Raini Studios. Like right now we're obviously very deep in the development of our next set formations. And yeah, the pace at which we're able to design, iterate, and just get stuff implemented into the game wouldn't be possible without tools like Leonardo. So yeah,
I think
definitely.
it's really powerful at augmenting people who do have that creative background and a good eye for visual design. So our art director Hitbox is managing to produce some pretty amazing cards for formations already using Leonardo AI. So obviously we have that direct line of communication and support for the two businesses. Yeah, it's pretty amazing all the stuff he's been able to produce. So it's got the double-ended advantage of allowing people who previously wouldn't have been confident enough to create in the first place to now create their visions. And those who have a lot of experience and talent in the space, they're just supercharged in what they can produce, and the time that they can produce it in is reduced significantly. So fantastic tool for Rainy Studios.
Yeah, for sure.
Are the in Leonardo, are the numbers of people that are joining in the Discords and the Twitters and all that sort of thing, are they converting into active members, like paid memberships and things like that? You guys seeing those numbers convert into success for the project?
Yeah, I mean, probably can't reveal those numbers as such.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, look,
just generally.
Yeah, just generally. I mean, it's looking quite good for the project. I think we're at something like 150,000 daily actives at the moment on the platform, so that's pretty awesome. We've got more than 4 million registered users on the platform as well. So yeah, it's been quite a substantial growth story since the platform was launched in Christmas Eve last year. So yeah,
indeed.
it's moving very quickly. It's quite exciting. Yeah.
Have you slept since Christmas Eve last year, JJ?
I mean, not really.
He's like a dolphin or something now. He half sleeps while half working, right? Like never fully asleep. I think a lot of the a lot of the like.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen your thing on Telegram, JJ, not say like active recently, like next to it, like literally any time I go online, it's like okay, JJ's there. It's like yeah, cool, something's happening. But yeah, no, like yeah, it's obviously yeah, we're obviously really happy to be able to do like cool collaborative things with Leonardo, the card back competition being one of those things, and yeah, I'm sure we can come up with a lot of other really cool creative things to let the Leonardo community get involved with Rainy as we move forward as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's lots of opportunity for collabs, and I think it's really exciting. Yeah, for sure.
Cool. I was going to say like any sneaky alpha you can drop for us on the Leo side, but there's probably not much you're actually able to announce.
Well, actually, yeah, I mean, we can sort of sneak peek. Just I can mention that we've got some really interesting stuff in the works around consistent characters and the ability for people to craft stories on the platform. So that's something that's might be coming soonish. Yeah, let's leave it at that.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, awesome. I mean, even that, like being able to do that with with card generation as well could be really cool. The fact that we could have generate a character for say a card in formations, and then be able to generate that again in future sets to have that character doing different things and have it consistent would be super cool to see. Especially with at least one of the designs we've got for informations that references a future set that yeah, obviously won't be out when formations drops, but we'll be launching at some point down the road. So yeah, very cool stuff.
Mine's fierce. Sorry, mate. With Leonardo, like compared to things like Midjourney, I'm not that familiar with the AI side of things, but your competition, the people that are actually doing AI as well, is what you're doing are you generating new things that these other AIs don't currently have? Are you catching up to them, or is there what's happening?
So what we have, part of the team that we've built is we have like probably maybe a third of the company is actually like our ML research AI, like ML AI team, and so they do a lot of research and innovation work to build novel tech to improve the quality of outputs on the platform, as well as sort of it's always about customizability and control, as well as things like prompt adherence. So yeah, there's a lot of work, I guess, that we've been doing to better position Leonardo relative to the competition. And it's all sort of driven by this idea that we want to give people more and more control over the process, because we want, ultimately, as I said before, sort of, it's really about lowering that friction between ideation and creation. And so making people feel augmented. Importantly, you need to give people the control to actually drive what those outputs look like and be able to achieve what they want, rather than just it being like a black box where you give it a text prompt and it gives you out a pretty image. That's one thing. But if you can give people a level of control over the outputs such that they can create what they actually want to create, I think that's really key. And so, yeah, that's what we're driving towards constantly.
Nice. Thank you.
No worries.
Cool. Well, yeah, I mean, I know you're. I mean, I think we stole you from like 3 other different meetings this morning. Trying to get JJ time is a challenge these days. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. A huge congratulations again.
Thanks so much, everyone. I really appreciate it, and yeah, really excited to see how well the game launch has gone, and I guess all the hard work that the Raini team has been putting in to date, and the response from the community has been awesome. So yeah, really excited for the future.
For sure. Will we see you playing in any of the World Championship events? That's the real question everyone wants to know. Will they get a chance to battle JJ?
I might have to make a cameo entry.
Nice.
I don't know if we'll do very well, but I can. I think last time was with.
We're actually just gonna
at the Avalanche Summit. And,
yeah.
He kicked my ass. So.
We're actually just going to save ourselves all some time. We're just going to cancel the World Championships. Just give the trophy now to Nemesaur. Because we know as it plays out. Like it's yeah. Let's just save ourselves some time. We can have a bit of a sleep in, and yeah, we'll just give him the title now. Although having said that, new season's about to start, so fresh leaderboards. Nah, I mean, where did George come on the leaderboards? I gotta go a sneaky look now, but. I'll wait like a minute until like the delay on the stream catches up, and I'll see his response in the chat here. It'll be interesting to see. But
I think George is waiting to get to Greece before he gets serious with everything.
Yeah,
I think he's in the chat. He's got he's getting a new knee. He's got popped his knee out or something. So he's just got to sit around for a while and play games.
I mean, it's good that he's going to sit around and play games, but I mean, there's probably better ways than yeah. Play games without popping your knee is probably the advice I guess I would give there. But yeah, cool. Yeah, like I said, JJ, thank you so much for letting us steal some of your time. Yeah, we'll definitely catch you around the World Championships, and yeah.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Thank
you.
Oh, George, 13th place. I mean, that's not even top 10, man. You barely made it onto the front page. Like, come on. Like that's just. I mean, I'm disappointed. That's I'm not hurt. I'm just disappointed. That's yeah.
Yeah. I had the boast.
Yeah. Do also have a little sneak peek here as well. I was trying to get this up while JJ was on the call, but my screen sharing was messing up. So this should look a little different to what everyone else has seen up to now, because this is actually the Season 1 Battle Pass, which is pretty cool. So yeah, Devil's Dance, so one of the new cards will be there, obviously. We've actually got this one here, Deus Ex is in there in the Lux tier. Probably, yeah, as you go through, we actually got like a nice promo pack there early on in the free tier, so a good chance to pick up some really cool cards there that you may be using for the World Championships. Got a Formations Premium pack there, so yeah, you'll start seeing Formation packs start to come through. Oh, this is before the update. Yes, there is something in that spot there. We hit it for today's AMA, but there'll be something there. Don't know what that will be.
Can you open the formations pack, or they can't open until the drop?
No, so you'll still see them when you go in and look at your packs. You'll see them here.
Oh yeah.
But it'll just say like like can't be opened yet, basically. So
Cool.
yeah, you won't be able to open them just yet.
Oh, that's cool. Good to collect.
And then yeah, as I mentioned, so obviously at the end of season 1's battle pass, you've got a formation bundle there. Oh, I should say season 2 there. But yeah, we'll have the season 2 pass there ready to go as well. So and yeah, there's obviously some cool card backs in there. We've got the color packs are back again because they were really popular last time around. Got the XP boost there in there as well. So yeah, just a little sneak peek of what will be dropping fairly soon. But yeah, card back in the free and in the Lux tier this time around as well, which is pretty cool.
How long do you reckon till you see the Rainiverse pass coming?
So that's a good question. So yeah, obviously for the Rainiverse pass, the actual pass itself is all pretty much ready to go. We just need to obviously get all the storefront stuff ready on RTLOL.com, so people can actually convert their Rainy tokens into RST, and then spend their RST on the Rainiverse pass. So I mean, Chris, you've been following this a bit more closely than I have. Would you want to give a bit of an update, I guess, on the RST?
I think the latest is that the dev side of the equation is all done. So we just need to do a pass of the front end, the UI, and make sure that's all tested and is looking good. But yeah, it should be pretty soon, actually. It's not going to be in time for the season 1 official launch, unfortunately, since that's happening in like 35 minutes. But I wouldn't say it's going to be more than like a week or 2 away. So yeah, you won't have to wait too long to activate that Rainiverse pass.
And I know.
And,
also, you go, Jess.
Sorry. No, you were saying before, I think, Marty, that as the last one, as you work your way up the levels, if you get the Rainiverse pass later, all those levels you can redeem, obviously, as per usual.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the same way as if you say unlocked, say the first 20 levels on the free tier, then chose to unlock the Lux tier, like those previous 20 levels just unlock straight away. The same thing will happen with the Rainiverse tier as well. Don't want to drop too much stuff about what's in that pass just yet. Mostly a bit of a surprise for everyone. It's not full. There's something like every 5 levels. But the rewards in the Rainiverse tier are all 100% on-chain rewards. So like I said, this is a very different tier to the Battle Pass than the free tier or the Lux tier. This one is very specifically designed with our premium collectors in mind. So we want to put together a tier of the Battle Pass that obviously rewards those serious collectors, but feels very appropriate for them as well. So yeah, everything there's nothing soulbound within the Rainiverse pass. It's 100% on chain. So we'll obviously need to make sure we've got the Beam wallet integration set up for that as well. But yeah, obviously that will be coming in the next few days there as well.
Nice. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, for sure. I guess the other thing, Chris, are we allowed to mention the last message on Telegram in the platform dev channel that you forwarded yesterday?
Yeah, sure. I'll handle that one now. So
yeah, because I think that's a pretty cool update as well.
Yeah, definitely. So for anyone who missed the update on Friday, our Web3 and full stack developers have been working hard preparing for the Web3 rollout. We were blocked by waiting for Sourceify to merge a PR that Avalanche put through to allow contract verification on the Beam mainnet. I believe that's now done, so we're just going to start doing some testing and we might be able to get things rolling out pretty quickly. But we have managed to launch the RST token and do the initial locks. Since we've launched the token, we've been able to send it to SourceHat, who were previously known as Solidity Finance, and they've already started work on auditing the contract. So we just want to have that publicly audited and a link to that as soon as possible to, I guess, secure additional trust from new and existing community members. It's always important to get a new token audited by an independent third party. So that's already underway. And yeah, we've got like quite a bit of stuff that is either done or nearly done, and we'll be rolling out over the coming days and weeks. So it should be a pretty exciting September to get all of that Web3 stuff online after so many years and months of building towards it. And then we will cap it all off with the World Championship. So yeah, going to be a very big end to the year.
Yeah,
How
for sure.
long sort of do the auditors take to audit a contract like this?
Often it only takes a matter of days. It depends on the complexity of the contract.
Yeah.
Our contract isn't super complicated, so I would imagine it should be done this week or next week at the absolute latest, since they've already started. But yeah, it's usually a pretty quick process.
Yeah, obviously really important to make sure we've got that external third party going over everything, just to make sure that everything looks good, and that the contract's in a good spot to fully launch while we do all the front end stuff getting ready for that.
Yeah, so obviously you can't, RST can't be released into the wild basically until that audit is completed. Obviously,
I mean, we could. It's just it's not best
you,
practice, I think. So,
no,
yeah,
of course. I was just saying you
yeah.
won't obviously release it in the wild until that's done. Otherwise, if they identify
Correct.
something, you're in trouble. You have to pull it out.
Yeah,
So
exactly. We could always relaunch the token at this point if they identify any glaring issues, which I'm pretty confident they won't. But yeah, once we start adding liquidity and publishing the token, then it's pretty hard to go back on that. So yeah, we just want to get all our ducks in a line.
sure, and obviously people can't create an LP for that until RST is released. Obviously, that's not going to happen. Obviously, you can't make LP for a token that you don't. That's not on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I mean you can definitely put liquidity somewhere, but you wouldn't have the other side of the token to pair it up with.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So stay put. We'll do the initial liquidity. Then Merit Circle's going to add a whole bunch, and then once we've got everything ready, we'll give you all the information you need to migrate your liquidity across. And yeah, as we flagged last week, as an incentive for anyone who migrates liquidity before we get LP staking online, we'll be doing an X-Photon airdrop based on the amount you put across and how long it's in there until LP staking's online. And just to confirm, the reason LP staking's going to take a little bit longer than direct RST staking is just because of the complexity added by the magnifier system. That we've been working on that for a while, but it just takes quite a bit more dev work to build all of that into the contract.
Are there any other projects that you know of doing something like the magnifier system?
I haven't seen anything that's like completely similar to the magnifier system, but I've seen more in the DeFi world, back in the bull run, especially when there were actual new projects launching, systems that were kind of similar, with like temporary boosts if you control a bunch of votes, or if you control a certain token, then yeah, you can influence the yield. It's been working pretty successfully in some of those DeFi protocols at the time. So yeah, but I haven't really seen it implemented in the gaming sector of crypto. So yeah.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, just innovating, doing brand new things again. God, that's getting boring, isn't it? We should just copy everyone else and just steal their theme deck idea or something. Like yeah. Anyway, yeah, cool. Lots of love to our other Web3 TCGs out there. I'm sure they're doing great. They're doing great work. Cool. I guess we're at the Q&A part of the AMA.
Sure.
I can see there's one here from George. At least we can touch on.
Yeah.
Background.
George.
Would be cool if we had a world championship arena. It would. We're definitely looking at doing some cosmetics around the world championship. So yeah, definitely keep an eye out for potential like card backs, emotes, stuff like that. No plans at this stage to do an actual full like game board. But yeah, there's other game boards that are in the works at the moment. But yeah, nothing that's at a point ready to reveal. Just yeah, game boards being a full rendered, textured, lit 3D environment. Obviously are significantly more work. but yeah, there'll be more boards coming at some point. But yeah, there'll be definitely will be cosmetics around the World Championships that will be dropping out there as well.
Yeah, it would be nice to see some different boards, I think, different themes or whatever. But like I say, they sound like they're a bit more difficult to put together than just changing a couple of pictures and colors and things, because they interact.
Yeah.
Things interact with the board environment, don't they?
Yeah, and it's also like to put together like the boards again at the quality and the scope that we do things like game boards. It's not just like a single person task. You need to bring in someone to do modeling, someone to do texturing, someone to do animation, someone to do lighting. So it's more of a cohesive team effort. But yeah, like I said, there will be more boards added as we move along. One of the devs at the moment actually is working on the new cosmetics tab within the profile page. That won't launch obviously today. That will be down the road, but that will basically allow you to do things like select different boards, different emotes. So we're going to be adding new emotes into the game, which will obviously let you then pick which 5 you choose to take into a match and stuff like that. So yeah, obviously we need to. Again, it's not just a case of building out a board. A lot of the time, it's working out how you let people select them, choose between them. There's interesting design questions like, for example, should you be able to assign a board or emotes on a per deck basis, or is it just something that's constant regardless of what deck you're using? Whereas obviously card backs make more sense there. So yeah, a lot of those little things that we're sort of working through, and even right down to like some of the stuff that the team has been at least like talking about potentially doing down the road. None of this is sort of locked in at this stage. Would be even things like, do we do like custom end game screens? So for example, at the moment you've got the pretty standard like win lose screen at the end, but wouldn't it be cool if you could potentially customize that? And then the question becomes like, do you customize it so only you see it? Do you customize it and then whoever wins, that's the end game screen that you see, so you can kind of use it like taunt your opponent and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a lot of cool cosmetic stuff that we're working on, but yeah, a big part of it isn't just getting the actual cosmetic itself built. It's working out how to create the right like user experience around selecting and actually using those different customization options in game.
Sure. When people are playing, they pick their own board, don't they? So people could be playing on a completely separate board to each other.
Yeah,
no trouble.
Yeah, at this stage,
Cool.
yeah. But yeah, like I said, we're still playing around with some cool options there.
Sure. Just going through a couple of the questions. Nico in the Discord is just asking when are the season zeros, soulbound and collectible rewards going to be distributed?
Yep, they'll be going out this week.
Okay.
So we'll do them at the same time that we do the card back competition rewards there as well.
And they just get dropped straight into your Epic account, or I suppose wallet if it's NFTs?
So all of the soulbound stuff will just go directly into your Epic accounts. That's nice and easy. For any of the on-chain stuff, they may not go out this week. It will depend on when we have the Beam wallet integration locked in, because they'll be going into your Beam wallets. So we do it that way because that way, regardless of whether it's a Web 2 or a Web 3 player, we know everyone will have a Beam wallet at that point in time. And obviously from there, it'd be relatively straightforward to move that into whichever wallet you choose to do so. But also, there's a lot of our Web3 community who have multiple wallets connected, and they may want certain rewards to go to certain wallets. They may, want to split them up and move them to different places. So yeah, by just putting them, we'll put them into your Beam wallet, and then you can choose where to move them to from there, basically. So that gives the players themselves more control over where their assets go.
Okay, excellent. Nemesaur was asking when the Lucky Draw prizes for the Chad Doge tournament are coming, and the Aurora giveaway between everyone who got Tempest packs.
Oh, I still have to do that Lucky Draw on that, don't we? Yeah. Cool. We'll look into that, and yeah, I'll make sure that gets done. Yeah, we'll make sure by the end of this week that all the prizes and awards are all completely up to date. I know that the Blue Mint tournaments, I think a bunch of their ones went out in the last day or two. But yeah, we'll make sure they all get out at some point this week.
Okay, cool. Nemesaur was also asking, I suppose, whether you had any interesting statistics from season 0 that you could share somewhere in the community.
We did
I'm not
actually.
sure what classifies as interesting statistics, but
Yeah, I
number
mean,
of
we can definitely
games, number of
do. I'll
downloads.
probably do. Yeah, I'll probably do like a big tweet with like an overall thing like that. Um, we're actually in the middle of an uptick in terms of player count at the moment, which is always good to see. We did do some data analysis. One of our designers who's working on formations was basically going through a lot of the season 0 data, looking at specific decks, specific cards, and win rates. Because obviously, when we're designing a set like formations, we want to basically make sure that we try to keep, again, with the interest of keeping the game as balanced as possible. We don't want to be dropping game-changing cards into colors that maybe already are at the top of the win rate. But yeah, we had a look through specifically looking at theme decks, and I can actually give you some cool statistics around that. Is it this one? Yeah, cool. So we've actually ranked all of the theme decks in terms of their win rates. Let me go. Where is it? Sort by win rate. So, as you can imagine, the decks that had the highest win rate across the board weren't theme decks. They were players like using their own custom decks. There's a lot, like, to give you an idea, the top, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. The top 16 decks all use some quantity of rainbow cards. So obviously the multicolor decks, as we know, are quite strong. I'm pretty sure every color is represented across there as well. Yeah, they are. So in the top 16 decks, this is just going purely off win rate. And I mean, most of these decks saw a fair bit of play. Like we're talking, in the several of these have over 100 games played in this specific deck. So when we say deck as well, we're just talking about like a 40 card deck list. So there could be some variation here. If someone say ran the same deck but just swapped out one card, we would see that as 2 different decks in the back end. We are going through and doing some grouping stuff around that. So our back end system will start automatically assigning internal labels to different decks. So it will label the deck as 4-color control, mono green, mono blue, stuff like that. So we can get a bit more of a high level oversight of where the meta is sort of shifting at any given time. But yeah, every color was represented across the top 16 decks. Purple was probably the least represented color. Red would be red and green are the most. Red and green are definitely the highest in terms of number of cards. Most decks ran 13 out of 16 ran yellow. Same number for orange as well. There was actually a almost mono pink deck. So a card that was running one of the decks was running 37 pink cards, and then just had a rainbow, a red, and a blue in there. Hopefully, I'm not ruining someone's deck strategy there. But yeah, it just looks like potentially that was almost like a mono pink deck, but just trying to get a rug or a Chad Raini in there, or an Aurora, maybe, not sure. But yeah, in terms of theme decks specifically, in terms of we sort by win rates, the red theme deck came out at the top. Then we have pink, blue, green, orange, purple, yellow in that order. And yeah, the mono red, fair bit above the pack. But yeah, generally speaking, their win rates were relatively consistent in there as well, which is good to see. Red being about 5% ahead of the pack, and then yeah, yellow a little bit below. But again, yellow is going to get some interesting tools in formations as well, so that should definitely help yellow pick up there a little bit too.
Can you see from those stats the most played card?
Yeah.
You'll get all that. You obviously need it for the rental or the payout type system of state cards. You can see all that information, what the most played card was.
Yeah, so for season 0, we had some high level data capture around that. So basically, every time you finish a match, we record out like every deck and like the deck list. So we've got that data sort of stored on a per deck basis. Going into season 1, we've actually updated how the backend database stores some of that data and actually stores a bit more for us as well. So we're now going to have like a whole separate table in the database that just will be storing like card specific data. Which we can then correlate against the deck data that we're already saving out. And that card specific data will also include things such as like if the card gets played, what turn it gets played on. And then obviously we can then correlate that against like win rates for decks as well. So one, that's obviously important for us to have for play and earn and collect and earn rewards. So all that data will be in there from season 1, which is good to go. But yeah, that will also really help us get that really nice high level overview of when we do see, is this card strong? Is this card weak, for example? I know we ran a report like, I think it was like a week ago, to see like what cards were showing up in like the top performing decks. And it probably is the cards that you would expect to see in there. There was a lot of blue. Campai Pandas was up there as well. We're seeing, like, obviously it's still relatively early numbers for Chad Doge, but we're seeing that come in middle of the pack, so nothing too crazy there with that one. But it's obviously a legendary, so it takes a bit more time because it doesn't get played as much. Because even though might see a lot of play in a deck, being a legendary only a one-off, it doesn't get actually played as often. And we're also tracking staking data as well, which specifically we added that in for the Chad Doge card. We've also updated some of the tracking as well, so that again, this was again instigated by Chad Doge, because the problem was if we just track the Chad Doge card itself, quite often that base card is just going to get staked away. So we need to make sure we're tracking the Super Chad and the Ultra Chad to track against that win rate stat there as well for play and earn and collect and earn.
A fairly big database to collect all this info, I imagine.
Yeah, our database at the moment is in the tens of terabytes stage. Because keep in mind, we save full replay data for we can go back to literally any match that's been played since we launched on Epic, and we can actually replay that match back, which is really cool. Obviously, that's important for us to have for like tournament integrity and stuff like that. It's great. It's just a great data set for us to have for a design perspective. But yeah, it's a lot of data. And yeah, just a shout out to the team that's built out that full custom backend for us, and keeps it running for us as well, which is always nice. And then yeah, obviously you've then got all the other backend systems that we use now that takes all of the like on-chain data and brings that across as well. And that's obviously getting added or worked on as well with like the Beam Explorer and stuff like that. So that obviously we'll be tracking everything from the Beam side of thing there as well, which is cool.
Very cool. What is the process once season 1 goes live? Obviously, will it auto updates on the Epic and then just load her up and off you go?
Yeah, so the team
Nothing
actually, I'm looking on the other screen at the moment. The team's actually preparing the builds for season 1. As I said, we had builds ready to go yesterday. But we wanted to get that update in to auto redeem all of the season 0 prizes. So yeah, basically we set up a downtime in the system, which is where you'll see that message basically saying like, hey, your version's out of date. Just come back, in 20 minutes sort of thing. I usually post some funny GIFs on Telegram and Discord to let everyone know that we'll be down for a little bit. Once we basically do that, we wait until all the currently running matches end. So we just track like the servers in the back end and wait for them to all to basically spin down, kill the servers, upload the new game servers ready to go. We update the back end at that point in time. The builds will already be uploaded to Epic, but when that is all happening with the servers, we tell Epic basically to switch over to those new live builds. And then, yeah, that takes about, like the Epic side that takes about 5 minutes usually. And that's when everyone will start getting the notifications in Epic to do the update. And yeah, if we get the timing right, the Epic builds go live when the servers have, we deploy what's called hot servers. So we actually spin up game servers automatically. So they're waiting for players to come back in because there's obviously like a bit of a shark fin in terms of user activity when a patch goes out. And then, yeah, as soon as everything's live on Epic, we try to jump in and be one of the first people in playing games ourselves, just to make sure that everything works. we generally haven't come across any issues too bad with that sort of stuff. But it's whenever you're deploying a new multiplayer server, you just want to go in and just play a card and stake something and just make sure that it works basically. So if you want a chance to play against the devs, the best time to do it is right after a new patch gets deployed, because we're all on there just basically testing everything, just making sure that everything is live and fully ready to go. But yeah, from there you pretty much, like I said, Epic will update, and once you've got that update, you just jump straight in and off you go. So you'll have Season 1 in there, you'll have the new card backs, you'll have the new host join mode. So now you can go in and specifically do either standard, theme deck, collectibles, or open format matches. Keep in mind, the open formats, we've got a toggle on our back end to choose when they can actually be used. So we're already planning on doing some Blue Mint events before the World Championship, which will be open format, so let people test out their decks for that. And we might do like a free play weekend or an open weekend where we enable open mode in lobbies as well. So again, just giving players plenty of time to prepare for the upcoming World Championships. But yeah, that will all.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that will all kick in.
Are there any sort of update? Oh, sorry.
I would say they'll all kick in relatively soon.
Yeah. Any updates on sort of marketing or engaged streamers or something like that that's coming up or going on?
Yeah, we're chatting with, I think I mentioned this in last week's AMA. We're chatting with a very well-known streamer to do some content leading up to the World Championships. That's about all we can say, unless, did you want to drop anything else there, Chris? Or I think we were just sort of waiting until that all gets locked in.
All I wanted to say there, just as an update, is we really wanted to have a central source of data for everything about the World Championship posted before we start getting this streamer and our other partners to push too aggressively. For the same reason, we wanted to have like all the retention mechanisms in place, like the battle pass. Just really important to ensure that if we are getting eyes on the event, that they convert to action. And in this case, that action would be, setting up an Epic account if they're not playing RTLOL and registering for the tournament. So if you haven't seen it, last night we pushed an update to RTLOL.com. There is a page on that site for the 2023 World Championship. And the power of technology, it's pretty cool now. It just has two columns, one with like a standardized time and one that will automatically show the time of each event in your time zone. It also has the registration link hyperlinked in each event, so it's super easy to jump onto the website, and if you click there, it'll take you straight through to the Blue Mint page for that particular event where you can register and find out more details. And we've hidden a link to Friday's Medium, which has more details about the World Championship in the main header logo. So now that we've got this online, we will be briefing this particular streamer and reaching out to a whole bunch of other partners just to try to get as much coverage as possible, directing them to this page where it's got all the links they could need, all the information they could need to try to get as many registrations as possible. So I would say you'll see that YouTube integration with the big Hearthstone streamer drop either end of this week or early next week is probably my estimate. But it'll be next week at the latest. We're just going to brief them today.
Excellent. Sorry, just typing some stuff here. That's cool. Excellent. Looking forward to that. That'd be great. Just for everyone, I mean, Blue Mint, for me at least, I think it's probably for everybody, seems to be a little bit slow when you first go into it. So if you click on one of those links, it fires up. It takes a little while for it to open up to that specific tournament. Just as a heads up, just wait a little bit and you'll see that particular tournament will be highlighted and you can go from there, or just probably auto select it yourself once you get there.
Yeah, we've passed that feedback on to Blue Mint. They're aware of it. Their team's working on doing some website stuff. So yeah, I'm sure we'll see that's rolling out at some point as well.
Fernando just asked a question in the general chat there. Are you planning to share some data that community can develop some tools around, like decks from the meta, win rates, match results? So some API, I suppose, is what they're asking.
Yeah, long term, yes. Short term, maybe. Is probably the best answer there. Yeah, long term, we'd love to make more of that data available to the community. All the data is there. It's just putting a nice public facing spin on it. Having said that, obviously it comes back to prioritizations within development team. I mean, game dev, as anyone who's been following our development process for the past several years would know, game dev is a constant battle of where do you assign your resources. At the moment, the sort of resources that we would need to build out like a public facing API like that are the same team members who are working on a lot of our like RST integration, the RTLOL.com storefront, stuff like that. So yeah, obviously that is a higher priority at this stage. Once that's all done, then we can go back and have a look at it. But yeah, it's we would love to have more of that stuff be available, but yeah, it's always going to be just a battle of dev resources and making sure we assign those resources where we believe the team and the community will get the most value, which obviously would be stuff like our Beam integration, our efforts doing mobile development, stuff like that.
Excellent. How are you going with the mobile version? Obviously, you're still working on that in the background. How's that looking?
I mean, it's looking pretty good actually. And just for fun, I know I said I wasn't going to share this image publicly, but fuck it, why not? Where is it? Where's the photo I took yesterday? There it is.
In mod chat.
Yeah, I'm just saving it. The annoying thing with we use StreamYard for all these, by the way, for anyone who may not be aware. The only annoying thing about it is you can't actually just share like an image. You have to share like a screen or something. But this is pretty cool, so I'm going to share it. Hopefully this works. So that is what Raini the Lords of Light looks like running on an Android phone. Don't get too excited just yet. This is still early days. There's still a lot of optimization stuff we need to do. There's still a lot of stuff just to make it run at a level that we'd be happy with. There's some like UX specific improvements we want to do on both in the actual game as well as on the back end. But yeah, like that should give you an idea of how the team is progressing. So we've got all like the Epic authentication and login stuff going. We've got the game itself running on a mobile phone. And when you consider like running on a phone in a lot of ways is harder than even getting a WebGL build running, then yeah, like that's just what we've got there on screen is a very impressive accomplishment for the team for where they're at the moment. But yeah, so we're prioritizing Android first. Just to get that up and running, then we'll switch over to iOS. We'll probably drop both of them publicly at the same time. But yeah, it's easier to get the Android version up and running first and then go back and do the iOS specific stuff. But yeah, so that, I mean, Draz, hopefully that answers your question on how mobile is going.
Yeah, no, that looks fantastic. It looks great, actually. I mean, I've watched actual matches on a phone and, you could see that you could play it quite easily and very effectively. The colors look fantastic on a phone.
Yeah, especially if you're on any of the new Samsungs, especially with like their screens are gorgeous. Obviously, we will fully support like the Samsung flip phones. So if you're using always like the flip or the fold, the game works great on those and like will scale correctly for the different aspect ratios. Obviously, on iOS, we've done some initial testing on that. It looks great. It's just getting it all together, and obviously we will at the very least. We'll be able to test and fully support iPad. So that the iOS version will scale up to iPad, and it'll just be one like app that you download, and that will work across both. So that's nice and easy to do there. Android tablets are a bit of a mixed bag. So yeah, like if you're running any like relatively recent Android tablet, you should be fine. Any of the older ones though may run into some performance issues because there's a lot of Android tablets that get released are pretty terrible in terms of specs and performance. But yeah, when we get a bit closer to launching mobile, we'll be able to come back with people with like specific like, hey, these are the devices we'll support. These are the devices that the game runs well on, and sort of go from there.
But when you do the mobile, it's all so you work on the Android first, and then once that's done, you just go back to the Mac OS, work on that. The mobile version will be released to all platforms at the same time. It's not as if you're going to release it to Android and then sort out the Mac and then release to Mac. You'll release them mobile all at the same time for all platforms. Yep.
Yeah, the plan is, because basically if you can get it running on Android, getting it then running on iOS is actually much easier from a performance perspective. Android, because there's so many different devices, so many different screens, processors, stuff like that. There's a lot of different things you've got to test for. Whereas iOS is pretty simple. If it runs on an iPhone, you're pretty much good. Yeah, the plan definitely will be that we'll be trying to drop the mobile version for iOS and Android at the same time, unless something specific happens that blocks one of those for some reason. Again, game development there's a lot of unknowns. And if theoretically, if iOS is ready to go and Android is going to be like, a month or two away, at that point we'll just drop iOS straight away, because we'd much rather have it out there in some form than sort of just sit on it for a few months. But yeah, hopefully, and like I said, definitely the plan at this stage is that both will be dropping at the same time by the end of the year. So yeah, like I just want to just re-emphasize, just because I'm sure someone's already screenshotted this and uploading it to Twitter. But yeah, just because we're at this stage does not mean like mobile is this week or next week. Like, it is still a lot of work to get from here to something that we're happy to put on the App Store and Google Play Store. But yeah, this is just a really good indication of the progress that we're making.
Yeah, very nice. I can imagine playing on an iPad would look fantastic and be really quite functional, size-wise and everything like that. Really, it'd be great.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually, so my setup whenever I travel is I work off a MacBook Pro and I use an iPad Pro like tethered as a second screen. So I've actually played plenty of games on an iPad screen. It looks great, obviously. But yeah, actually being able to run it as a native app, just kick back in bed, play a few games, and stuff like that will be a pretty big game changer.
And the mobiles all run through the Epic game store as well, do they? I've never really run an Epic game on a phone before, but
yep. So so that part's all fine. Obviously we rebuild the whole game specifically for the different platforms. But under the hood, it will still be using an Epic account for your authentication. So when you fire up the game on mobile, it'll ask you, like, do you have an Epic account? It'll help you set one up if you don't. So yeah, obviously the important thing there is if you're playing between like your computer and your phone, for example, all your decks will be the same. Your battle pass progression will be the same. Everything you've unlocked will be the same. Any connected wallets through RTLOL.com, like everything will just sync up the exact same as right now if you were to play between a desktop and a laptop computer, basically. Which is obviously really important because you don't want to have two different accounts or have two different sets of progress. But yeah, everything that you've got between one or the other will be consistent between the two.
I think it's fantastic to have just that Epic logon, and then your wallets are sort of in the background. Because I mean, I personally I wouldn't be logging on to my wallets on a mobile phone. I wouldn't feel comfortable. Obviously, a lot of people do. I mean, they pay with their phones and things like that, but I personally wouldn't feel comfortable. But then I can go back to my desktop later and do the transferring and all that sort of stuff for me in a more secure environment, which is great.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, there's always going to be a thing we can point back and go, hey, remember this thing we did 6 months ago? This is why. And yeah, there's a reason why even, when we started moving towards like the Epic builds and how we're going to have like wallet integration, stuff like that, why we chose to do that through like RTLOL.com, not doing it through the actual game client itself. It was so when we did get to mobile, we didn't have to then try to work out how to do that through mobile integration, because you've probably seen like a lot of mobile wallets. You've got to scan QR codes, and it's just there's a lot of just weirdness around that integration. Whereas again, we wanted to create just that seamless, frictionless experience for the user. So yeah, you just jump on RTLOL.com, hook your wallets up there, jump into the game wherever you choose to play, whether it be mobile, iPad, or desktop or laptop, and it just works, being a really important part of the experience.
George has got a question just in there. I'm not sure what he's actually asking, but will we be able to see all the available cards that can be found in each different pack and their percentage in Season 1?
Yeah, so we're definitely, I know we were working on that. I'm not sure if it made it into the Season 1 patch or if it would be like the first patch after Season 1. I'll have to go back and check that actually. Where, yeah, whenever you're buying packs in the store, it will show you what the pack can contain.
Right.
As like a list of cards, and it will show you the odds of each rarity appearing in that pack as well. So basically from that point forward, you'll be able to actually see in the client, that premium packs have double the odds of set packs and so forth. One of the things that we do track on the back end, and again, when we do eventually get to the point of setting up an API, we'll make that fully visible, is we track every single pack that is opened, and we actually track the like the rarities that each pack generates. So yeah, it'd be great to be able to we'll be able to publish that information through the API. It'll be obfuscated, obviously, but we'll be able to say, like, hey, this many set packs have been opened, therefore this many, like, this would be the expected number of mythics, legendaries, rares, and these are the actual numbers that we've opened. Just, again, to give that sort of transparency and visibility around the odds that we publish within the game. And obviously important for us as well to make sure that all our systems are working the way they should. As with anything where there is an element of RNG, there will be some deviation from the expected numbers, but that obviously would be within a range that we'd be happy with.
All right, that's all the questions I have on the various forums at the moment, guys.
Cool. Yeah, you can probably wrap it there. It's just over an hour, so we've satisfied our AMA obligation for not keeping to under an hour, I guess. Yeah, if you haven't seen the song, I know it's on Twitter. Please go check out the leaderboard song. Didn't change the planned rewards because the planned rewards are already quite generous. But yeah, like, so obviously they'll be dropping later on this week for all the top 100 people in Season 0.
And NFTs you'll be able to earn from the Rainiverse pass as well, James. So by the sounds, lots of those coming.
Yep. So yeah, all the details of the Rainiverse pass will probably be in a really good spot to drop that in next week's AMA, because obviously by then we'll have all the front end stuff all hooked up, ready to go. Cool. So yeah, that's pretty much us. Have a great week, everyone. Enjoy Season 1. Good luck to everyone competing on the leaderboards. And yeah, we'll catch you back here next week for our next AMA.
Cheers all.
See you guys. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.